Kat.
Hey, Safiya, what's up?
Nothing much, just here on this beautiful evening in Toronto, enjoying the sun. Summer's about to kick in, and I'm loving it. And it's
The
a
warm,
wonderful time for
the
Pride to begin.
warm weather, the
Yes,
warm weather. It's finally here.
yes.
Um, so we're here for about 15 minutes, doing beauty in our history, and I wanted the world to know who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Safiya, and she is my hairdresser and has been my hairdresser for over 22 years.
Woo.
And she is the proud owner of Safiya's House of Creation, and she specializes in locks. So I felt it would be really cool to interview her and let you all hear about the history of locks and where she's coming from. So let's just get into it. Safiya,
Yes.
tell the people about yourself, a little bit about yourself.
Okay, all right, so I've been doing locks actually for almost 30 years, if not just a little bit. I know I look very young, but that's because I've actually been doing hair all my life. I started as a child, and a good friend of mine had started her locks and needed some assistance. And because everybody in the community knew that I was doing hair, so she asked me to assist her. And that was my journey in becoming a loctician, not knowing that I was falling into that name, that trade, that skill. I just knew that I was doing hair and I loved it, and it gave me the opportunity to spend quality time with friends while doing hair and bonding and watching a lot of good TV shows and eating good food.
Right, right.
Because I was a kid where it wasn't there wasn't much requirements for me. I was just like food, good friends, movies, we're good.
We're
You
good.
know?
Yep. And it's still
Yeah,
the same way now.
it really is. It's just that it's on a more adult form now.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, um, I guess, I guess how you became a loctician, like how you actually made the decision to be a loctician.
I believe that it chose me.
Okay.
It's a journey that, yes, I had a natural love for doing hair, but once that friend of mine asked me to do her hair. And back then, I was doing locks when locks was taboo. Like, you had locks, and people would look at you sideways, like, where are you going with that? And in the industry, especially if you were in corporate Canada, it was just like, you're not going to reach certain levels in your career because you have locks. So I was doing locks well before a lot of people were considered it acceptable or even wanted to do it as a hairstylist, if you will, you know.
Right.
So I would say that it chose me in the sense that that one friend, when people started seeing her hair in the community, a lot of people would be like, well, then I need to go, I need to go. Well, most people would know me as Sophia then. So, I need to go to Sophia. I need to, I need to, yeah, man, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it just became more of a community based salon, if you will, because that is how things start organically and naturally. So
Right.
I was fortunate that I was in that community in a way that would support a young entrepreneur without question.
Right.
You know?
And a
So
talented one. And a
yes,
talented one.
thank
Uh,
you.
I do remember, I remember growing up, and I remember this one time me and my mom were on the road, and a dread came up to her and tried to pick her up. Like literally was trying to chat my mom. I was a little kid.
Uh-huh.
And oh, my mom was so upset. I remember that. And She's never been a fan of dreads
Mm-hmm.
until I had mine, and she saw how neat and clean I kept it. And then she kind of uh, softened to it and found out a little bit more about it. So I was very happy about that because I didn't think my mom would ever like my dreads, but she did.
Yes.
Um, okay, so let me know a little bit about the origin of locks.
Ah, so the origin of locks. So the origin of locks is it started in Africa. And I want to say that the earliest dates goes as far back as the Maasai tribes. So various tribes wore it in different parts of Africa, right? But the earliest documentation is that of the Maasai tribe. Now, most people attach locks to Jamaicans and the Rastafari movement, right?
Right.
And in terms of that history, the Rastafari movement came in post um, emancipation, and it was like a rebellion against the Eurocentric, the colonization of Jamaica, and so on. So
Okay.
the terminology dreadlocks or dread came from the fact that Europeans did not like the fact that these men, particularly, were not combing out their hair and conforming. So it became that dread hairstyle, right?
Okay.
Um, and so, therefore, over time, it became dreadlocks. But if you notice that when I talk to clients, I don't call them dreadlocks, I call them locks.
Right.
As I'm moving away from colonialism and what that meant for our people. And I just call it locks now because that is the beauty. And I'm not saying that dreadlocks are not beautiful, I'm just changing the dictation of it.
Right. Okay. Hmm.
So I call them locks, and I encourage clients to call them locks because we do not want that stream of colonialism in the same way that we used to back then.
Okay. That kind of falls into the next question I had for you. So, how do you feel that racism have impacted how people of African descent wear their hair?
Wow. Well, it's definitely been a journey. It's definitely been a journey. If you look through the various ways that people of African descent can wear their hair, we have so much variety in what our hair can do. However, in order from let's take it 40s 50s, let's take it around those times. In order for you to get a job, you had to conform. So your hair had to be pressed out, curled up, in order for you to be able to get a job that would pay well to help you take care of your family. For
Right.
men, and that would be for women. And for men, well, a lot of men either use lye to straighten out their hair, or they would have to wear their hair in close crop afros, or if they happen to grow it out a bit, it could not go past a certain height, because if it did, then the probability is that you would be associated with some form of black movement, right?
Right.
So you wanted to stay in a certain level of um, around your career and professionalism, as quote unquote as that could be, you had to conform to a Eurocentric version of professionalism in order to make it.
Yes.
So racism definitely played a role in the way how people of African descent wore their hair. Over time, women moved away from pressing combs, and they started to do extensions. So extensions became accepted because it was a version of long hair.
Right.
And they couldn't fully determine what it was, but they just knew that it was not a fro. It wasn't
Yeah.
kinky hair sticking out, doing its own thing that they would consider to be unruly or unprofessional. Uh, Same thing for locks, because as I said, when I was doing locks, locks was very taboo. And so a lot of the comments that I got from clients was that uh, people would challenge them around being able to move up in a corporate arena because they had locks. And I've even known people who, when they were going for interviews, they were preparing for interviews, they cut off their locks.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
I I've never gone that far. Or I've never thought that way directly, but I do feel that way. Like if I'm doing a corporate gig, even as a DJ, because DJs have dreads, apparently. It's a thing, so I'm okay. Uh, but if I'm doing a corporate gig, I very rarely wear my hair out. I put it in a tam, like I put it in a hat, and
Yeah.
I ball it back
You
so
cover
that
that.
everything is like structured and it looks kept in their eyes or whatever. So, in my own way, I conform too. Like I don't just let it
Move it out.
go
Yes.
right, because I feel like they're paying attention to that. And I don't know where that came from. That's just, a part of living life and
Yeah.
being in this system. Um, because it even when I'm coming home at night, when I used to like take a cab, and
Yeah.
I know I'm going to have to come home at night, I tie my hair back and put it up before I
Yes.
went on the road so that I could get a cab to
Yes.
go home. It was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that it like it's little things like that.
Well,
I
and
don't
it's
know.
not little things. I don't know
I
if I
don't.
would call those little
Go ahead.
things.
Sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I'm just gonna say that I don't know if those are if I would call those little things. Those have become indoctrinated forms of racism that plays out in our lives, that we find different ways of how to survive and how to conform.
Yeah,
But I find that more and more now that's starting to shift here and there. It's starting to change.
it is because I see more people. Like I see people in corporate world that have dreads. Now, mind you, they that or locks. They have to make sure that they're clean and kept and stuff like that. But
It's presentable.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Okay, before we end, even though I
Yeah.
would love to talk to you longer because you know me and you can talk.
Forever.
Right. Um, I wanted to know some trends. What trends do you see when it comes to dreads? Because sometimes I'm like trying to find new things to do with my hair.
Well,
And
I'll talk about the different types of trends. So right
yeah.
now, the trend, one of the major trends is that more now than ever, people are locking their hair. It's
Okay.
become they people have become much more confident in themselves that this is natural for them and that they are okay with wearing their hair in locks in no matter like whatever arena you're in. So people have become much more confident in themselves. I don't want to say defiant because I don't feel that that's the place that it's coming from. It's really a place of this is my journey, this is my decision, and this is what I'm doing with my hair. Uh, Trends in terms of fashion, I would say there's a lot more coloring. People have gotten like fantastically fashionista with the types of color that they're using, such as fuchsia and oranges and greens. And so colors are coming out of all
Yeah.
aspects of the rainbow to represent how people are expressing themselves when it comes to their hair. Another thing is the types of styles. Styles are ridiculous now for both men and women. So
Right. I
people
was
are
gonna say that
sorry?
women, I was gonna say men's styles are becoming so much bigger and you can be
Yes.
freer with it. You can express yourself much more now as a man with your dreads, as
Yes.
opposed to before where you just had to wear them down or you just had to like have them a certain way. If you're gonna be like a lock, you're gonna have locks. And I'm happy about that because I love
Yes.
to change it up.
Yes.
But yes, wow,
So
15
it's
minutes.
it goes so quickly.
It
But I'd
went
like
like
to thank you. Thank you for this wonderful interview, and thank you, Pride. It's been
yes,
an
it was
awesome time.
It was really a good interview. I am glad that we did it. Very glad. Folks, this is Safiyah from Safiya's House of Creations. I'm sure her information will be up in the Pride's site. So if you're looking for her, please look her up. She's been doing me for 22 years, and I know y'all know me and see my hair all the time. So look her up.
Oh, beautiful.
uh, okay, thank you.
Thank you.